Unless otherwise indicated, Ratchet Book Club is intended for a mature audience. Viewer discretion is greatly advised. Ratchet Book Club, Hood Classics, Good Classics, Derek, you know us by now. I don't know if this book is boring or insipid or both, but the love of it is just not there. For me, personally. Y'all might be loving it. Y'all might be like, why hasn't he put out another episode yet? I've been waiting. I don't know why guys' voices are high like that, but Mike Tyson's was. Did you get the impersonation? I don't know. It just feels like this book is like forever long. It didn't seem this long when I read it in my head. Like when I read in my head, things just blur by so quickly. I thought I was a speed reader, and now I found out, no, you ain't. Not even close. 83% done with this book, though, so that's a good thing. Bad thing is the last 17% is like 70 pages. Ain't getting that done in an episode. So, y'all hear the exasperation, right? Like, I'm really trying to, as hard as I can. Like, the people who can make their cheeks blow out and shit when they do it, make their cheeks puff out. I can't. I don't have Dizzy Gillespie cheeks. Growing up, my wife has cheeks up. Growing up, I need to. Well, Carl, what are we going to do tonight? Tracy asked. She was stretched out on Carl's bed inside of his dorm room. First, I have to take you home, and then I have to study for this upcoming test, Carl told her from his desk. He closed his book and stood up to leave. How come you all strapped into your grades all of a sudden? Look, would you get off the bed and come on? Oh, you don't want me down here or something? I didn't tell you to come down here anyway. I mean, you're just getting to the point now where you're inviting yourself. Carl opened the door. Okay, then, since you have to study so much. Tracy jumped up from his bed and snatched her bag from off the floor. Not a word was spoken on their city-lined avenue ride towards her Germantown home. It was February, a new semester of college for Carl, and the second half of Tracy's junior year of high school. She hadn't been able to spend a good deal of time with him since Christmas. It wasn't her fault that he was on academic probation. Or was it? Tracy had been occupying a lot of his time, but so was football and DJing. Carl simply had his marbles in too many different jars. Alright, I'll call you when I get in, he said. He had double parked his small Nova out in front of Tracy's house. Oh, you're not even going to walk me to my door, huh? She huffed at him. Carl looked at her as if it pained him. Yes, I'm sorry, he said, getting out to open her side. Just as he did, Victor Henson and four of his rough-looking friends approached him from the corner. Yo, Tracy, come here, he hollered drunkenly. He was staggering from side to side as he walked, obviously filled to the rim with alcohol. Tracy didn't know what to do. Oh my God, he's doing this shit again, she reflected, remembering when Victor had intervened to save her from Timmy. What do you want? She asked him nervously. Fuck you mean what I want? I said to come here, now. Tracy, noticing his drunken condition, tried to laugh it off. You had a little too much to drink, she told him. Carl walked behind her cautiously. He was aware that Victor's friends would intervene if he was to try anything bold and courageous. And they didn't look like the types to allow any Action Jackson stunts to go down. Victor said, oh, okay, you gonna get new on me now since you got this muscle-headed pussy with you, right? He walked up on Tracy's sidewalk with his friends laughing in the background. Tracy held in her own laugh. Carl did have a massive sized head. No fucking loyalty. Like zero. Like, ugh. Carl turned and looked Victor in the face, as if he wanted to hurt him for embarrassing him. Yeah, what you want? We got the whole fucking street, Victor responded to Carl's glare. I'll break your punk ass up, he shouted, heading out into the middle of the street. So, is Victor older than Carl? Like, because when Tracy was like 13 or 12 or whatever, Victor was like 16, right? These pedophilic ages are getting beyond me, but it was like a 4-year difference. So now she's 16, he's 20, and that means that he's 2 years older than Carl, which means he should be able to beat up a 18-year-old with a gang of friends. But y'all fighting over a 16-year-old, fam. Instead, y'all should team up and go back to the college and get some girls your own age. Victor took off his jacket and sweatshirt as Tracy watched, astonished and tickled brown. Victor was still black and beautiful in his own muscular frame. His gold link chain and small V around his neck glittered from the night lights along with the gold nugget bracelet on his right wrist. Come on, punk, he insisted, challenging Carl. Come the fuck on out here. Carl was contemplating about his friends. Hey, Vic, stop that shit, man, one of his friends said, still chuckling. Come on, cuz, put your shirt back on. You're gonna catch a damn cold out here. Nah, fuck that, Victor hollered, staggering. His crew continued to laugh. Victor then kicked Carl's car. Boom! Now what, pussy? I won't let you kick my motherfucking car. I'll put my foot in your ass if it was my car, but I guess this piece of shit you driving don't mean much. Nah, it's a Nova, nigga. You can have it. Victor's friends pleaded seriously. Vic, man, you drunk. You gonna have neighbors coming out here, man. Carl gritted his teeth, not budging, but he was starting to get worried. And Tracy's father wasn't in from work yet. If this guy kicks my car again, I'm gonna have to fight all of them, Carl mused. Victor put on his Adidas sweatshirt and winter ski jacket with his black Sergio jeans and Timberland boots. He had a fresh haircut to boot. Victor was the shit, even when he was drunk. Yeah, alright, he said, straightening out his clothes. That's my young girl you dealing with, boy. You treat her wrong, and I'm gonna break you the fuck up. Alright, boy? He asked Carl. Carl stared as if he wanted to hurt Victor. They were both about the same height, but Carl was 30 pounds heavier. Nevertheless, Victor was older and much more intimidating. You hear me talking to you, cuz? He asked as he walked closer to them. Carl and Tracy had not moved from the sidewalk since Victor started putting on his scene. Hey, Vic, leave him alone, man. Dude don't want shit, his friend said, ushering Victor down the street. Fuck off me, man. I can walk, and I know that big head pussy don't want shit. They headed down Tracy's block, with Victor leading his friends. He then yelled, Punk! Who was that? Carl asked Tracy as they left. Tracy lied. Oh, that's just some guy who wanted to talk to me a while ago. She was surprisingly excited about the event. Victor was ready to fight for me, she thought. Carl said, that boy got a big mouth. I hate guys like that. He headed to his car and said, I'll call you when I get in. Jantel, guess what? Tracy quizzed, jumping on the telephone as soon as she got inside. Okay, what Carl do now? Nothing. It was Victor, Tracy told her. Victor? What about him? He was ready to fight Carl over me. Get out of here. Victor? Yeah, and he said I was his young girl. Nobody sees a problem with this shit. For real? Jantel shouted, getting excited herself. She then calmed herself down, starting to think for the both of them. Yeah, but Victor's still a damn dog. That boy done had more girls than I had track meets. Tracy laughed and said, I know, but she still couldn't help thinking about him. She added, all in a hurry, I wonder if he's going to stop by and see me tomorrow. I wonder what he wanted. He might have asked me to come over to see him. Jantel butted in and said, no, girl, I can see it now. You're going to end up being his little plaything again. She was surprised she said it. Jantel always thought that way about Tracy and Victor, but she had never said it. She was slightly afraid of Tracy. What? Tracy fumed. I ain't mean it like that, Tracy. I just meant that Victor's just a dog, and that's all he be wanting. No, you ain't mean it like that. You calling me a whore. No, I'm not, Tracy, for real. Yes, the fuck you are, Tracy responded acidly, hanging up on her friend. She sat there in her room in a state of turmoil. She's right, she told herself. I am still fucking hooked on him. She was disappointed with herself for still liking Victor. Carl had become a drag like all her previous boyfriends. Only Victor remained exciting for her. Yet he was the ultimate dog. Here's a story about a famous dog. 'Cause a dog named Victor can't be tamed. Nasty dog.
Wow, now, wow.
Black dog. I can say that because he's been saying it this whole time.
Wow, now, wow, now.
Tracy's
wow,
dog.
Now, now.
Ultimate dog. Dog. Ultimate dog. Ultimate dog. He's a pedophile that be in the streets chasing young girls. I don't know the words, so I'm gonna make them up. Bow wow wow yippee-yo yippee-yay. Bow wow yippee-yo yippee-yay. Bow wow wow yippee-yo yippee-yay. Bow wow yippee-yo yippee-yay. 20-year-old man out walking the streets looking for some 16-year-old girl he can meet. Why must he be like that? Oh, he's such a pedophilic cat. The hell's wrong with me, she asked herself. She decided to push the thought of Victor out of her mind. I'm not going to be nobody's whore, she insisted. Tracy began to watch more television in Carl's busy absence. She even started taping shows when she knew that she would miss them. And every effort to stop from watching them and find something more constructive to do only made her more anxious to find out what she had missed. Tracy was a television junkie. For real, just let her have nice things, nigga. Like, everything ain't a junkie, dude. Just because the nigga smoke weed, that don't make him a junkie. My nigga, like, ugh. The glamour on television became the only perfect world. Adventure the Dynasty, Knots Landing, Falcon's Crest, and other network shows and movies of non-black people occupied a good portion of Tracy's imagination. She began to long for her own riches, imagining herself hosting large, elegant parties where handsome bachelors drooled over her and catered to her every desire. Tracy, get up out that bed, girl. Do you know what time it is? Do you really know? Do you know what time it is? Do you really know? Patty shouted, waking Tracy from dreamland. It was Thursday morning and a school day. Huh? Tracy responded sleepily, tossing the pillow over her head to drown out her mother's screaming. Patty yanked the pillow from her and turned the light on. Girl, I'm sick and tired of you getting these damn late slips and detentions. Now get up, I said. What's wrong with you? Nothing, Mom. Patty wore her white work coat with a new wrap hairdo, looking good and young. It's important to you, isn't it? Looking young. Are you pregnant or something? She asked her daughter. Tracy had been at a loss of energy for weeks. No, I'm not pregnant, Tracy answered her with a frown. Well, what's your problem? All you been doing is lying around watching them damn shows with this nappy-ass hair of yours. It's natural, Tracy retorted with a grin. Patty hadn't said anything to her about the twisted-up hairstyle since Tracy had started wearing it. She figured it was a stage that her daughter was going through. But it was getting close to springtime, and Patty felt that Tracy would not be able to straighten her hair out in time to apply for a summer job. Girl, that ain't no nature, she responded with a smirk. If you want a natural, then grow an afro. Tracy smiled herself. Mom, I don't believe you said that. See, white people got us hating our hair, Tracy rebutted, finally sitting up. Patty said, a natural is not using chemicals and whatnot, but you can still comb it. 'Cause my little dude look good, girlfriend. You hear me? Patty chuckled, looking inside of Tracy's dressing mirror. I got you an appointment with Donna tomorrow, she informed Tracy as she left the room. What? Tracy asked, standing up to get herself together for school. You heard me, her mother responded before heading down the steps. Already running late, Tracy took extra long to shower up and get dressed. By the time she had arrived at school, it was after 9 o'clock. God damn. Well, I guess back then school probably didn't start at fucking 8 o'clock and 7:30 and shit like it does now. Shit. The security guard stopped her at the front door. "Excuse me, young lady, but are you just coming into school?" asked the heavy-set and hungry-looking guard. Damn. He had a bunch of unnecessary hair on his face, untrimmed. Damn. "Yeah," Tracy snapped. Damn, Tracy, you ain't got to talk to him like that just he has untrimmed hair on his face. "Well, that's called a beard, nigga. Like, what?" "Well, you're going to have to go to the office." "I know that. That's where I was going." Tracy rolled her eyes. The security guard grabbed her by her arm and said, "In that case, let me escort you." Tracy violently yanked away from him. "Get off me. I can walk." "That's it, young lady. You're in more trouble now," he warned her. "Yeah, whatever," Tracy responded, unmoved. For my sociology class, I wanted to do a paper on SROs in urban high school settings. I wanted to look at two schools, one which is more of an inner city urban school that I work at, and the other one is the school that my son goes to, which is more suburban. And the teacher tore my idea into pieces. He was like, it would take a year to do the surveys and the interviews and all that kind of stuff. I just think he don't want niggas to get in trouble when these kids do these surveys and they find out that these SROs are literally targeting people of color. He was like, why do you want to just talk to seniors? Why don't you want to talk to freshmen? Bitch, freshmen ain't had no experiences with SROs like that yet. But seniors have had 4 fucking years of dealing with them. And for their senior year, they should get the chance to talk about that shit. It's like an exit interview. But he didn't want me to do it. Also, this paper was the one assignment for the entire fucking semester. And this is Sociology 302. Like, I ain't learned sociology yet. I'm just interested in it. And so I'm taking 300 right now. And I took 301 in the summer. I know it's mixed up. And now I'm taking 302 at the same time. And he's like, yeah, we're doing a 10-page paper based on this thing that I don't want you to write about. And I'm like, nah, drop, delete. Delete it. Staff members came out of their offices, hearing the argument that erupted. Tracy strutted into the disciplinarian's office herself, ignoring their stares. She knew it was coming. She sat in the empty room, waiting for her case to be heard. Dirty, hairy, greasy man, she fumed to herself. Okay, I see we have a lot of problems going on here, Suit and Tie said to Tracy. He was well-groomed as usual. Tracy was a junior, believing she was old enough to demand respect from anyone. No, we don't, because he shouldn't have put his hands on me. Suit and Tie let Tracy know, look, young lady, don't come in here with an attitude problem with me, because you'll find yourself at home for a few days on suspension. Now, first of all, you've been late nearly every day for the past 2 weeks, and you have the audacity to come in here with this 2-cent attitude as though we did something to you. And? Tracy asked carelessly. Okay, that's it. Suit and Tie pulled out a pink slip from his desk. Now, I was going to let you off the hook with a couple more detentions and a last warning, but it seems to me that you don't want any warnings. I don't care, because I need to be away from this place anyway. Suit and Tie picked up the phone, pulling Tracy's file. Is your mother at work? I don't know, Tracy lied, rolling her eyes again. Yes, may I speak to Miss Ellison, please? Yes, this is Mr. Waters from Germantown High School. It seems your daughter, Tracy, has a problem. Now, I was originally going to give her 3-day suspension for her attitude, but now I think she needs 5, unless you can come and talk to me about her. Okay, all right then. Well, I'll send her home, and you can come in on Monday with her to talk with me, Mr. Waters said, hanging up. He then filled out the pink slip and handed Tracy a copy. Now you go on home and think about things, he told her. Principals have the potential to be the worst because they feel like they have so much power, yet they feel like they're powerless because there's a superintendent above them. So there's principals out there that are just straight up bullies. I need y'all to know that. And the sooner y'all go into conversations with teachers and principals believing your child more than you believe the teachers, the better. Because I can tell you right now, from as an adult and also as a kid who went through school, teachers be making shit up because they don't like your kid, or because they had a bad day, or because they know that you'll mete out any punishment that they can't do to your kid. And that's shitty. And in this day and age where everybody's trying to tear your kid down if you're black, if you're white, I don't fucking know. But if you're black, in this day and age where everybody's, especially if you got young black girls, in this day and age where they're trying to take your girls down for everything, for the hair, for coming in with what they call an attitude, or for a litany of fucked up reasons, and you don't believe your child before you believe that teacher, you're doing them a huge disservice. And when you wonder why y'all don't have a relationship when you become an adult or when they become an adult, this is why, right here. Tracy left school, but she wasn't planning on going home. She headed down to Cheney's campus after catching a taxi on City Line Avenue to pay Carl a surprise visit. There was no sense in going home. Tracy decided that it would be better to stay on campus until it was time to pick up her brother. "What's up?" she asked with a grin as Carl opened his door. "What have you done now?" he asked. "I got suspended." Carl sighed, sick of all her drama. "What the hell's wrong with you, Tracy?" "Who are you talking to like that?" "I told you I have to study for my midterms this week, and here you come, crashing in here talking about how you got suspended as if you don't give a damn." "So let's take a break and go to the movies." Nigga, he just said he's studying for midterms. How that work in your head? Also, he got an attitude out of nowhere like they about to break up. He got an attitude like he's mad that she didn't tell him more about Victor. I think that's what's going on. Carl sat back at his desk. "I don't have time, number one, and no money either." Tracy couldn't hold it in any longer. "You know what, Carl? I'm tired of just sitting the fuck around while you do your homework, and then you want to get some. You don't take me nowhere, you don't buy me nothing, and I'm tired of this shit. You don't never buy me nothing." Carl stopped studying. "Tracy, what the hell are you talking about?" he asked her. "You've been doing your thing, watching them damn television shows and BET videos for the past couple weeks. I think you must be confusing characters or something. This is me, Carl Thompson from college. Remember me? Arthur Tracy." "All that smart shit can walk," he snapped at him. "Yeah, and that's exactly what I feel like telling you." Tracy was shocked. "Oh, is that the way you feel about it?" "Yes, that's how I feel, Tracy." Tracy left his room without another word and slammed his door, hoping that Carl would come out after her, but he didn't. Tracy got a ride back to the city and caught a bus downtown. She wandered around on Chestnut Street and looked over a pair of jeans inside of a retail store. "Hey, Bright Eyes, you want a job?" an olive-complexioned Italian man asked her. "Who, me?" Tracy responded with a smirk. The Italian man walked over to her wearing an open silk shirt that displayed his hairy chest. He wore 2 gold chains, and his black curly hair shined as he slung his right arm up on a clothing rack, getting comfortable. "Yeah, you," he said. Tracy stared at his gold nugget bracelet. He looked at Tracy's hairstyle and held back his comments. He wanted to hire her first. Tracy was obviously attractive, despite her twisted hair. He smiled and said, "See, this is my store. I'm in charge of who gets hired here. Now I got a girl leaving soon for spring break or something. You can replace her for me." "What about when she comes back?" "We'll worry about that then. But if you're interested, give me a call. I'll hold the spot for you, but you gotta let me know by next week." "Okay," she said, following him to the counter where he gave her a store business card. "Pamela, come here for a second, would you? This here's Tracy. She'll be in to work with us in a week or so," he said to a tall, light-skinned black woman. He assumed that Tracy would take him up on his offer. "How you doing?" Pamela asked, shaking Tracy's hand lightly. She had huge gold earrings herself, with a Sketcherman hat in New York set inside of her circular shape. Tracy responded, "Hi," while observing her earrings and her clothing. "Now, Pam will give you all the details when you come in to work for me next week," the Italian man interjected. His name was Joseph Bamati. Tracy liked his name. She thought it sounded like a designer suit in a GQ magazine. She walked out of the store, looking into several outside mirrors as she strolled along Chestnut Street, proud of her pretty face and attention-getting eyes. "Mom, I'll straighten up now, I promise. I just needed something to do," Tracy was saying after 20 minutes of arguing with her mother about whether she could accept the job offer. "What makes you so sure?" "Because I just needed something to do to stop being bored, that's all." "Well, I'm still going to have to go and talk to Mr. Waters to get you back in school." "I know," Tracy said glowingly. She was very excited about her first job offer. Patty conceded. "Alright, girl, but you act up again and that's it. And I have to tell your father first to see what he has to say about it." "Why you gotta ask him?" Tracy almost slipped and asked. She still had to get used to the shared chain of authority since her father returned. Oh, she responded, walking away from her mother solemnly. Patty went down the stairs and left Tracy in her room to think. Jason walked in and said, "Tracy, where's Carl at?" "Why?" "'Cause I want to know." Jason was decked out in another attractive Oshkosh outfit. Tracy answered, "I don't know, and I don't care. He's a dumb jock anyway. He's trying to be a nerd now." She laughed and added, "That stupid pussy." "Oops," she responded, catching herself. Jason smiled. He didn't seem to make a big deal out of it, but he knew Tracy had said a bad word. "I'm sorry, little man. You're not going to tell on me, are you?" she begged him. "No," he told her with a smile. Pleased with his answer, Tracy said, "All right, I'll get you some cookies then for being cool. And some milk, too," he told her. He was about to turn 6 years old and was growing taller and getting smarter by the minute. Tracy responded with a grin. "Oh, you getting greedy now." Jason said, "You shouldn't have said it then." Tracy chuckled to herself and headed down the stairs to get her brother to promise milk and cookies. "Dag, that's a shame. I'm being blackmailed by my little brother," she thought. "Girl, I got some news for you," Jantel told Tracy over the phone that evening. She was attempting to make up with Tracy after her slip of the tongue the night before. That was the night before? Shit. "What?" Tracy asked flatly. She wanted to make up with her friend, but she was still hurt by what Jantel had insinuated about her. "Guess who's pregnant?" "Who?" Tracy asked. "Carmen, and she 4 months at that." "For real?" "Yep, 'cause I just found out today." "See, I told that tramp about running around with everyone." So you don't want to be called a whore, but you're going to call everybody else a tramp. And you just got right, like maybe 7 or 8 months ago. And you having sex with Carl, so we don't know how long you back on that boat. Because you were complaining about him not doing shit and not buying you nothing, but always wanting to get some. So that means he's been pedophiling you for a while now. Yeah. "See, I told that tramp about running around with everyone," Tracy said excitedly. Jantel fell silent. She didn't want to say the wrong thing again. "I think she did it on purpose, though, 'cause I heard that this guy got money," Jantel finally said, thinking that her comment was safe. "That don't mean shit. She ain't gonna get none. That girl is dumb," Tracy commented. Jantel sat silent again. "I wonder how you feel about me, Tracy," she thought to herself. Tracy had been good friends with Carmen, but she seemed two-faced when she talked bad about her, a friend one day and talking about her the next. Tracy was beginning to see the picture. Who was she to throw stones? Well, I shouldn't say that, she commented apologetically. "Anyways, what else is new?" she asked, deciding to change the subject. "Nothing. What's up with you and Carl?" Jantel asked. "Fuck that boy," Tracy exclaimed without another word about it. "Oh yeah, I got a job offer downtown on Chestnut Street today," she said. "For real?" Jantel asked. "Yep," Tracy told her, beginning to warm up to her again. "I can't even get a job with track and all. My schedule's too busy," Jantel commented. "Ain't outdoor season about to start?" "Yep, next month." Dave poked his head into Tracy's room and gestured to her. Tracy held the phone away from her mouth. "Yes?" she asked him. "I want to talk to you for a minute." "Oh my God, here it comes," she thought to herself nervously. "Jantel, I gotta call you back," she told her friend before hanging up. Dave took a seat on her bed while Tracy sat in her desk chair, anticipating their first father-daughter confrontation since he had moved in almost a year ago. She knew that the moment would come eventually. It was only a matter of time. "You know that you have one more year of high school before you graduate, right?" he asked her. His tone was calm and conversational. Tracy nodded speechlessly. She wondered where her father was heading with the conversation. "Do you plan on going to college?" Tracy thought about how much fun she had had on Cheney's campus with Lisa, Joanne, Kiwana, and Carl. "Yeah," she told him with another nod. "I want to go to college." Dave nodded back to her. "Well, everybody don't get to go to school. Did you know that?" Tracy paused. "I haven't really thought about it like that," she admitted. "Most teenagers don't until the last minute, and then they end up not being able to go to the college they wanted to because they were unprepared for it." Dave let the idea sink into his daughter's head before he commented on it further. "Now, what college would you like to go to?" he asked her next. "A black school," Tracy told him. "A black school? Why?" Tracy hunched her shoulders. "Why not?" "Because I want to be around black people, I guess," she told him. Her father began to smile at her. I'm glad that you would like to go to a black school and all, but it should be more than because you want to be around black people. You can go to community college downtown and do that. You have to have a goal in mind when you start thinking about your future. I just want you to think about that before you start acting up in school, because you'll end up putting yourself in a bad situation that you'll be struggling to get out of. He got up to leave her room and added, by the way, congratulations on your new job. Maybe now you won't be digging in my pockets so much. Tracy smiled at her father before he returned to his room. She was pleased with his method of getting across to her. My dad really is cool, she told herself, continuing to smile. She was proud to have such a thoughtful father. He ain't nothing like Mr. Keith at all. Monday morning, Tracy and her mother held a conference with Mr. Waters in his office. Several teachers had filed complaints on Tracy's lack of focus in class, but her grades didn't seem to suffer. She had maintained A's and B's. She agreed with everything, though, just to get the hour-long conference over with. She was dying to catch Carmen in school. She had a few words for her. Hey, girl, I heard something big about you, she said. Carmen was cutting her class inside of the lunchroom again. I know, but life is life, she retorted, annoyed with the gossip. Tracy was not in school when Carmen's pregnancy news hit the fan and blew around. See, I told you about running around. Tracy, you're no better than I am. You just didn't get pregnant yet. That's right, and I ain't getting pregnant no time soon either. I'm going to college. What the fuck does college have to do with getting pregnant? I ain't getting pregnant no time soon. I'm going to college. She went to college and she got pregnant. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, well, I'm happy for you. Anyway, I lucked up this time because he wants to marry me, Carmen informed Tracy cheerfully. She had not given her boyfriend an answer yet. She was simply proud that she had been asked. Tracy said, well, obviously something's wrong with him, and you're only 17. She was trying to cover her surprise. She was jealous. Carmen took a sip of her Sprite soda. Sprite soda. Took a sip of her Sprite soda, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that Sprite was a soda? Huh? Did you? It's like orange juice. Kool-Aid drink. I don't know what the fuck to call Kool-Aid. It is not juice. It ain't. And it ain't soda. Powdered drink? Supplement? No. People used to get married young, and my grandmother was 15 when she got married. Yeah, well, that was then. The cost of living is much higher now, Tracy refuted, still shocked by Carmen's announcement. Carmen said with a grin, well, his father's an engineer, and he's studying to be one too. Plus, his mom's a physical therapist, and he said they make a lot of money. Tracy was doubtful. It all sounded too good to be true. Oh, girl, that boy can tell you any damn thing because you don't know. Yeah, but I do know that he's treating me nice. He got a car and he's going to college this year, and since I'm carrying his baby, I got something that's part of him forever. She got up to leave. So now, Miss Too Fine, or at least you think you are, she added, chuckling as she left. Tracy had no words. Her plan to bring Carmen down had failed. She was the one who had crumbled. Security was something she had never known. Her father had only recently come back into the family, and her relationship with Carl was practically over, like the rest of her short-term flings. Well, I wish Carmen luck, she told herself, because I sure ain't had none. At least my father's back home, though, and my mom's happy again, but what about me? Tracy played with her left earring, watching the younger freshman girls flirting with the older boys. It was evident to Tracy that none of them knew what love and romance were. They were all too immature, looking for adventure, thinking it was love and falsely believing that they were grown. The school day ended quicker than Tracy expected. She felt the usual stares while walking home from school, but they were coming from younger guys who hadn't known her. She had been on the college campus and the college parties with a college boyfriend. What could a high school boy offer her? They were getting on her last damn nerves with, hey baby, can I get to know you better? You look like a movie star, sweetheart. Can I be your manager and keep that body healthy with a little bit of work? And one guy even got nasty. Can I lick you where it feels good? Damn, nigga, that's the best you got? Like, did you think about that line? I'm gonna ask her if I could lick her where it feels good. Watch what happens next. Please, you know you will like it. Tracy told him off. You're a little nasty motherfucker. You know that? What kind of a mother would raise you? Then she thought that Carl was nasty for doing it. Nevertheless, Tracy's attractive appearance grew attention, whether she liked it or not. She walked around the same corners of Wayne and Chelton Avenue, seeing the same faces. The same older guys hung out in the playground, running ball since Tracy could remember. And in the middle of that long playground block, in a blue Mercedes-Benz, sat Victor Henson. Tracy slowed her pace, watching him as he talked on his car phone, hoping that he would look her way. She couldn't help herself. Empty of an outlet for excitement, Tracy found herself praying for him to light up her life for just a minute. But Victor didn't seem to notice her. Tracy speeded up to her house, dashed up the steps to her room, closed her door, and threw her face into her pillow like a baby having a tantrum. Bring! She answered the phone snappishly. What's up? Tracy sat up. Who is this? She asked just to make sure. What, you don't recognize my voice on the phone? Well, you haven't called me in like years. Victor adjusted the channel on his car phone. Well, that was then. I see you getting older now. Yeah, I'm hoping to be going away to college soon and educate myself, she bragged, hoping that it would interest him. Victor was never the unintelligent type, and his older brother had gone to college, so Tracy was confident that he valued it. Oh yeah? So that means I could come down there and visit you and spend the night in your dorm room? Tracy's heart raced as fast as when she had first met him. We'll see, she teased. You still go with that dude? He asked her, referring to Carl. Not really, Tracy told him. Their split was not official, but Tracy was ready to move on from Carl. Well, you know I was drunk that night, Victor said, stopping short of apologizing. He wasn't quite ready to fully apologize to a young girl. Tracy smiled, accepting it as an apology anyway. She knew about the male ego, and Victor had one of the biggest. You know, I heard somebody say before that your real feelings come out when you're drunk, and it seemed to me like you were jealous, she alluded. Victor chuckled. That's what it seemed like? Yeah. Well, maybe not. Tracy was filled from head to toe with bliss, but then Victor's phone line beeped. Yo, I'm gonna call you back, alright? I was just thinking about you, he told her immediately. Tracy wanted to ask why he didn't say anything to her when she had walked past the car earlier, but since he was on the phone at the time, she suspected that he was probably busy. She hung up the phone and headed out the door to go and pick up her brother, and was energized. Victor was gone from the playground, but she was satisfied with his call. She called Rahima over as soon as she got back home with Jason to tell her the news. Maybe Rahima would have a different perspective on Victor than Jantel. However, Rahima came over with her own news to tell. Mercedes is coming over to talk to my father tonight, she said. For real? Tracy asked, shocked. Rahima's news was more important than her news. Do your parents know? Rahima looked at Tracy as if it was obvious. Yeah, they know. My aunt told them. Mercedes has started stealing this stuff. Oh my God, Tracy exclaimed. So what she want to talk to your father about? She wants to move back in while she goes to this rehabilitation place. Is he gonna let her? Rahima shrugged. I don't know, but I doubt it, knowing him. Tracy paused, thinking the news over. Well, how do you feel about it? She's my sister and she needs help. I would say to help her, but it's not my decision. Tracy shook her head and grunted. This deep. Well, you know you gotta tell me what happened. Yeah, I'll tell you tomorrow. Tomorrow? Girl, I wouldn't be able to sleep. You gotta tell me tonight, Tracy insisted. I have to see, Rahima told her, making no promises. She was still apprehensive about the family meeting herself. She wanted to give herself time to digest it all before she would tell anyone. Beth was apprehensive about what her husband would say concerning Mercedes' plea to move back into their home. Keith had only grumbled to her when she had mentioned it to him a few days ago. She walked out on us and now she wants to come back, huh? He muttered. So Beth wasn't optimistic about their meeting at all. But she nervously told him that if he didn't agree to at least talk to Mercedes, she would be on her way out with their other daughter. Rahima, on the other hand, felt that he would allow Mercedes to come back. He had never actually allowed his first daughter to leave, as much as he had talked about her. It was as if her image was imprinted on his mind. Rahima was only unsure about how she would take it. Mercedes had been an attention stealer ever since she had started living in the fast lane, and Rahima feared being blatantly ignored again. Mercedes rang the doorbell close to 8 o'clock that evening. Her mother answered the door, and they greeted each other with a hug. Mercedes then followed Beth over to join Rahima and her father at the dining room table, completing the four-member family again. Rahima stood up to hug her older sister herself before retaking her seat. Mercedes looked clean but thin. She had made sure to look her best and to be on her best behavior. She had to swallow a lot of pride before finally deciding to ask her parents for forgiveness. She felt that her survival depended upon the support that only a caring family could give her. Yeah, so where's the caring family at? You still writing like ain't shit happened to this girl. You still writing like everything that happened to her was her fault. And I still don't understand how she got into drugs. Like, how'd that veer even occur? You still just aren't admitting that Keith is abusive and you got everybody living in this abusive house as dysfunctional as fuck. She's the only one who got out. And so to punish her, you made her into a drug addict? Oh no. Keith stared at his daughter, unstirred by emotionalism. The fuck is emotionalism? Why should we let you come back? He asked, ice cold. Both Raheem and Beth stared at him, ready to defend Mercedes. Mercedes, however, kept her composure. After asking many questions of herself, she had finally learned to understand her father. He was as stubborn as she was, searching for an outlet to ease his frustrations. Their entire family was introverted and guarded. They all needed outlets. Mercedes was only able to understand that about them after leaving home. No. He raped her mother, impregnated her, which led to Mercedes. We are not the same. We are not alike. You ain't like the rest of this family. They might be introverts, but you're a rapist and abusive and a bad father. This is irritating. I'm not your enemy, Dad. I'm a victim like you are, she told him. And I know that I brought this on myself, but you have to understand that, in a sense, you forced me to make some stupid decisions. I didn't force you to do a damn thing. And nobody forced you to be so uptight with us, she responded on beat. I mean, you gotta understand that everybody has to have something to be happy about in life. There has to be something that they love to do. And we didn't have that here. You could have participated in anything you wanted to, he told her. He looked over at Raheem and said, your sister was in a dance class. We all went out to see her perform. Where were you? Raheem wanted to speak up about how afraid she had been about keeping her grades up and how she had given up her weekends to study. Dance class had been more pressure on her than enjoyment. The only enjoyment in it was her final performance, and she had never participated in dance again. And I bet you found a way to make that hard on her, Mercedes commented, hitting the nail on the head. Raheem was pleased with Mercedes' thoughtfulness. Beth nodded her head, remembering the night her daughter had come home in tears, fearful of the pressure of keeping her studies together while attending dance classes. You do what you're supposed to do, and you can do whatever you want on the side, Keith said. But that's just the point. Life is more than doing what you're supposed to do. Life is about living it while you're here. I mean, sure, you would like for us to get good grades and go to school and all, but that ain't what makes people wake up every morning. They wake up every morning because of the exciting things that may happen that day. Keith was suspicious. He didn't believe that Mercedes could carry out such a clear and concise argument by herself. Who been putting this stuff in your head? He asked her, realizing her points were valid. He had been living for a paycheck for so long that he had forgotten how to really enjoy himself. That's what we're gonna bring this all down to? We're narrowing this all down to him being a workaholic? For real? Mercedes sighed, realizing that selling her program to her father was going to be just as tough as she thought it would be. We love each other, Dad, but we think too much alike to admit it, she told him. Beth looked at her daughter and smiled. She had known that fact for years. Mercedes and Keith were both bullheaded. Yeah, well, this is still my house, and if you plan on moving back in here, then you have to know I have the final say-so. Do you? Mercedes asked him. What? He responded, confused. You're damn right, he fumed, ignorant of Beth's feeling about it. So if Rahima walks out this house with straight A's, can you guarantee her a college education? If she continues to get the grades she's been getting, then yes, I can. And after she's finished college, can you guarantee her a job? Keith paused, knowing that there was no guarantee. If she gets good grades in college, then she'll get a good job. Mercedes nodded. Maybe, but you can't guarantee that. What are you trying to get at, girl? He snapped, weary of playing Q&A with her. I'm curious, too, because I don't know how we got to this. They wake up every morning because of the exciting things they do. Clear and concise, who've been putting this stuff in your head. We love each other, Dad, but we're still too alike to admit it. Yeah, this is my house, and if you plan on moving back in, then you know I have the final say, so do you? You damn right. So if Rahima walks in the house with straight A's, how the fuck we get here? I wouldn't ask that because that would completely blow up the entire conversation. But still, how did we get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. What I'm trying to say is that no matter what you do to prepare yourself for the world, there's no guarantee. You can only do the best you can do to survive, but ultimately it's going to be your will and not how smart you are or how disciplined you are that get you over. And nepotism. Lots of nepotism. It's a lot of people in the world who are just like you, Dad. They come home mad at the world every night and end up taking it out on their loved ones because they don't know any better. And by the way, I'm not a girl, she told him. I'm a young woman in need of some help. And I'm also your daughter. Mercedes couldn't help the tears that swelled up in her eyes. It wasn't part of her speech. It simply happened. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hands. Beth jumped up to get her some tissues while she comforted her. Thank you, Mercedes said with a sniff. Keith sat silently. There wasn't a word at the table for a couple of minutes. Keith loved his daughter. He loved his family. And Mercedes was right. Beth felt optimistic after hearing his silence. She knew her husband, and silence from him knew that Mercedes had made a good enough case to stay. Rahima knew it too. She was no longer concerned about her sister getting too much attention. She looked at Mercedes as an important ally. I fucking hate this book. So what do you want us to do? Her father asked her. I'm going into this rehabilitation program, and I just wanted your support and somewhere to stay when I get out in a couple months. I need for somebody to come up there and see me and tell me that everything's going to be all right. The counselors told me that the best way for me to pull through is if I have my family's support. And when are you getting out? As soon as I feel strong enough. Keith nodded and looked at his wife. We can do that, Beth. Overjoyed, Beth stood up from the table and said, Now can I see you two hug? I've been dying to see that. She began to choke up and cry herself. Mercedes stood from her chair and walked around the table, eager to feel her father's arms around her. Keith slowly rose from his chair and approached her. Mercedes reached out and tenderly embraced him. Keith, feeling his daughter's frail body in his arms, began to choke up himself. Come on over here, Rahima, Beth told her youngest. She grabbed Rahima's hand and pulled her into a three-way embrace with her father. Thank you, Dad, Mercedes told him, tearing uncontrollably. Thank you so much. Tears came leaking out of Keith's eyes for the first time in over 20 years. Damn, girl, now you done got me crying, he told her, unable to stop him. Beth kissed his cheek and said, It's good for you. We needed this. All of us. And after all they had been through, Rahima could not agree more. Fuck this. Fuck that. Fuck you. Ugh. No. You are not gonna make this the way that they resolve this situation. He has to take... It's the 80s. You wrote this shit in the 90s. He ain't taking responsibility for shit. This shit is stupid. 916-633-1537. Wretched and Ratchet at gmail.com. Ratchet Book Club on Twitter. Ratchet Book Club on Facebook. You can leave a review on Spotify. It takes like 13 seconds. You can also leave a review on Podchaser. Copy and paste that into Apple Podcasts. And then copy and paste that into the Good Pods app. You can donate to the show at patreon.com/single simulcast. $1 will get you a ton of content. You can also donate to the show at buymeacoffee.com/sscast or on the Good Pods app. You can leave a tip in the tip jar. Thank you so much for listening. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all be good. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace. The intro and outro to Ratchet Book Club is by That Kid Garan, and it's called Goodbyes. You can email him at tkgbeats94@gmail.com for more information on how to lease this beat.
This is Single Simulcast.